for one of two players on your list whose stock increased this week, who made themselves look really good, better than we probably could have thought.
Here's the thing: you can ask me to give you one, but that doesn't mean that I want to. So,
well,
you don't get to find out.
I'm telling you to because it's my podcast, and you're going to do what I want.
All right, so I strayed away from the obvious choice here. I think I'll cover him more so later on in the episode. We'll get to that one. So, I went with my two players, Clement Diop.
I only went for one.
All right, well, we'll start with Clement Diop. And my reasoning behind this was at the start of this season, we didn't know who was going to be in goal. Who was going to be the number one? Was it Marsman or was it Diop? Diop gets to start the first game, and he played really well. Kept a clean sheet, had a really good performance. Going to need a lot more performances like that this year, most likely, because Miami's probably not going to be too strong. But I think he made a strong case for himself to continue to be the number one going forward until he either has an injury or a bad run of form. But a game like that, you're going to make it hard for the coach to swap you out. So I think his stock went up this week, seeing as how he pretty much locked down at least the number one spot for the next week going forward. And then my other player whose stock went up was Michael Estrada for DC United.
Ooh, I like that one. That was a good one.
Yeah. Talk about making a good first impression. How about a debut brace with a 3-0 win? Granted, it was a 3-0 win over Charlotte, who probably
one of his goals was a penalty.
That's okay. That's okay.
I know it's okay for you, for a person who lives on penalty merchants.
It is a what is with DC and getting penalties? I don't understand that. Ola Kamara got joint golden boot last season just because it's the same thing. All right, but anyway, regardless, 2 goals in your debut. It's a great way to get things started for DC. I think that the addition of Estrada was kind of under the radar from the summer. I know there's a lot of big signings, a lot of big names coming in, some exciting names, and I feel like Estrada kind of, was under wraps. I don't think too many people heard about it. Not too many people were getting excited over it. But I mean, he sure is making it tough for people to not talk about him. No better way to get your name out there than to, force people to recognize you. Now, my question going forward is, can Estrada keep this up and keep Ola Kamara on the bench for the rest of the season? I don't know. It would be pretty. I would think it would be pretty tough, but I mean, you keep putting performances like that, you're going to keep starting.
Well, to bounce off the Estrada under the radar, I think that's a massively accurate statement. He came in, and I know we didn't finish. Well, some of us finished our transfer thoughts, our Instagram posts. Some of us didn't.
Yeah, the didn't was obviously me. You don't have to. Are you waiting for applause?
Yeah, I'm waiting for an I'm sorry. I'll do better, sir.
I don't have time for this. I have priorities outside of the podcast.
No, you don't. Yeah, when he came in, I was kind of like, okay, backup striker. Ola Kamara is going to get the start. He might do whatever. And he came off and he blew up. So a massively impressive signing and an impressive start. And I know we talk about it only being Charlotte, right? But at the same time, good players take down bad teams. He didn't drop to their level. He didn't, lower his game based off of the team that he was playing. I think it's a massively good start for Mr. Estrada. And I believe that he will keep Ola Kamara on the bench because I do know that earlier before the season kicked off, DC were shopping Ola Kamara. They were listening to offers.
Yeah, I think I remember about that.
Yeah, so I would reckon that unless he's hurt, Estrada's your guy.
Mm-hmm.
So my two players. Clement Diop was also on mine, but I actually put 3 down just in case you did something like this, like stole my player.
Glad I did.
So when you are able to keep the future Golden Boot winner off the board, that is reason enough to raise your cap, but especially because we didn't know if he would even be starting.
I'm surprised you got a nice shout out there for William Yarbrough.
Stop it. He made 3 massive saves, basically from point blank range. He made a nice high dive save on Shaqiri on a shot from distance that was maybe looked a little bit nicer for the cameras than it needed to. He also made a really good one-on-one save against Ivanov to keep the clean sheet. And then in the second half, as soon as we kicked off, point blank save to keep out Kasper Shabilko. 3 massive saves to get them the point. Gaga Slina also had a great game in there, by the way, but Clement Diop was head above heels better. Can we talk about left back Pedro Santos being an absolute monster for Columbus?
Was really good.
He is one of my players whose stock went up this week. MLS Gone Wild said before the game that there is a world that Santos might be a best 11 left back in this league. And I thought he was just messing around. He was not. It's very system based. He fits this system very well. And he was only playing against Vancouver, but God, he was so good. 95 touches, 2 shots, 1 key pass, 77.1% pass accuracy, 2 headers, 1. He drew a foul. He made 4 tackles, 2 interceptions, 4 clearances, 8.00 who scored rating. I mean, the man was everywhere. He was doing everything all over the place. He fits the system super well, and he was just phenomenal all over the pitch. Really nicely done by Mr. Santos in there, and I'd like to see him play a team that is going to be better than dead last. So
well, they won't be dead last, probably.
You put that team against Cincinnati, against San Jose in like a 3-team round robin, and I'm pretty sure the world's just going to explode.
Throw Charlotte in there, make it a 4-team round robin.
Oh, Charlotte was better than that.
Oh, come on now. I don't know about that.
But the other player that I'm going to throw in there is a shout out to your boys.
My boys. Is it Joseph Martinez?
George Campbell, the 20-year-old center back for Atlanta United, was phenomenal. He had basically 2 mistakes, and they didn't get hurt from them. But he had an 88.2% pass percentage, 10 clearances, 2 interceptions. He did take a shot. He made 2 dribbles. He got 2 fouled. Basically, he was just he felt very calm. It almost a lot of times I struggled to determine if it was Miles Robinson or George Campbell because ESPN Plus's stream quality was garbage. But it's also a note to how similarly they played. I think it was Doyle who tweeted. They basically took the genes out of Miles Robinson, cloned him, and then called their clone George Campbell. I mean, it was 2 of the same, and I would not be shocked to see him in a men's national team camp very, very soon. But he was phenomenal. And again, it's not necessarily just in the stats, right? But in just the way that he plays, the recovery runs that he made, the way that when Atlanta were pushing up and it was just him and Miles Robinson, he was able to cut down any striker, keep the ball and knock it backwards, right? Or keep the ball and just disrupt anything. For 20 years old, to have the way to read the game the way he did was phenomenal. I really loved the way he played. And I think his stock soared this week.
Fair enough, but I think that's fair. But I also think that his stock isn't going to continue to rise because as soon as Franco slides right back into that back line, he's going to be relegated back to the bench.
I don't know. After a play like that, and again, it was against you, like you mentioned, a good Sporting KC team. This wasn't him playing FCC.
I don't know. I still don't think they would bench. They're not going to bench Miles Robinson. That's a given.
Right.
But I don't think they're going to bench Franco either.
Let me run this by you. Back 5. Throw Gutman as an attacking wing back. Throw Brooks Lennon as attacking wing back. Put Sosa and what's his face?
There's a lot of faces.
Rossetto in the 2, let them cover all that ground, and then put Marcelino Moreno, Thiago Almada, and Josef until Araujo gets healthy. And then from there, you go for another formation change. I mean, there's so much talent. I mean, you're probably going to see Marcelino Moreno play off the bench most of the game because there's just so much talent there. But I don't think you can take George Campbell out right now. Not after that game.
We'll see. I don't think they go to a back five, but we'll see.